Hi, everyone. Elaine Catuara. I'm here today with Maryann Udel, and she is with the company Sheltering Tree. And I will let her tell you her story. She is a grief counselor and has helped so many people in the past. And I wanted to share Maryann's story with you and some of her history so that you can learn a little bit more about grief help. And I really believe that a lot of people go through grief when they go through empty nesting. And I really felt like both of our niches made a nice connection there. We met networking and I wanted to share Maryan's story with you. So hi, Maryann. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello, Elaine. Thank you for inviting me to introduce myself to your community, to
Yeah,
the
thank you.
people.
Tell me a little bit about your story.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit more about the work that I do as a coach. The
Hmm.
name of my company, as you said, is Sheltering Tree, and I work with both individuals and companies that are dealing with loss or major change, and they don't know what to do. They don't know where to go to get answers for how do I deal with this? uh, and that's where I come in. I work them through a process so they can go from where they were and discover what's next. So it's similar to what you do, only I do it
Hmm.
on a broader scale, specifically with grief. And
Okay.
um, I, I came to this rather late in life. I didn't do it right away. It was could have been one of your empty nesters. I came to it while I was in my 50s,
Okay.
and um, I was doing a job in a company, and they were laying people off. And I said, I need to figure out what to do if I get laid off. I don't want to have all of my control in their hands. So I
Hmm.
started exploring and found coaching, and
Okay.
specifically on grief, because I, at 24, was widowed and went through my life dealing with grief, learning how to live with it. And people don't understand what grief is. There's a lot of misunderstanding, and it's something that we don't talk about,
Hmm.
even though we all go through it. And so it's something that I wanted to be able to help people get the help that I didn't have through my life. It took a long time for me to find some peace. Um, and I have that now. This is my
That's
purpose.
wonderful. Good. Can you explain what grief is? I mean,
It's a
we all
very,
know what that feeling, but
yeah, it's a very simple. People try to make it more complicated than it is. It's just a human response to loss.
mhm,
And there's no set type of reaction that you have when you're going through grief. There's the five stages that you hear people talk about are really not linear. It's those are things you might experience. It's not a checklist. Okay, let's see. I went through the bargaining, I went through the denial, I went through the no, it's you don't go through that. It's one person might be angry, one person could be just on the floor with depression and crying. Um, Another person could be just sort of in a daze about it, or in denial for sure.
mhm,
But there's no order, there's no set pattern. And one thing that people have a hard time taking in is that there really isn't an end date. The thing is, you have to learn how to live with your loss, learn how to live with your grief. Even though my husband died when I was 24, you can tell it's been quite a few years.
mhm.
uh, Yet, I still feel a bit of melancholy in the month of September because that's the month
Oh,
he died.
oh,
Your body doesn't forget. Even
mhm,
though I've learned how to live with it, and my second husband has accepted it. The reason I married him was because he was the first man I met who wanted to hear more about Bob, my first husband. So he acknowledged the fact that this is part of who I am.
Hmm.
That it's like when you break a bone as a child, and then you get an X-ray later, they can still tell that you had
Hmm.
that broken bone. It's the
Yes.
same thing with loss. You know, you have that, that's part of who you are. And it could be a job loss, it could be a breakup, a divorce, an empty nest,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
putting your parent into a home or moving across country, you know, all of these things,
Hmm.
illness. And of course, the one that everybody thinks of is death. So this is it's just something we all experience, but rarely talk about together. And I think part of my mission is to get the conversation going more. You know, I look for places to speak where I can help to educate people, and trying to make headway into the corporate world, because the human beings that are in a company need to know how to work through their grief, and the leaders need to know what needs to be available for them to support them, what to
Right.
say, what not to say. You know, you can't negate who they are as a person when they come back from 3 days of bereavement leave.
Right.
Grief
Right.
changes your mind, your spirit, your even your energy, your body.
Hmm.
So all of those things that you work with your clients, you know, the health and the wellness and going for a walk, it's all part of how you help yourself when you're dealing. I mean, it's the grief. Uh,
Right.
you know, uh, I sometimes I just keep going.
That's fine. Well, it kind of all rolls together because it rolls answered some of the next question was, how can a person help themselves when they're in this situation? When, something happened and they really want to get out of
Hmm.
feeling down.
Hmm.
I mean, grief is natural. It's supposed to,
Yeah.
we go through this, but at some point you want to feel better.
Well, I think
And
that people try to rush it. They want to
hmm
feel better like that. You know, that they
right,
think that there's like a magic pill that all of a sudden they'll feel better. But there's incremental changes that happen. There's small steps. And really what I when I work with my clients, the first thing that we focus on is addressing all of the feelings, that whatever is present
hmm
is what they allow themselves to experience, because there's a tendency for people to um, try to push the feelings down or push them aside,
hmm
but they come back. Just because they don't get expressed doesn't mean they go away. They
right,
just come back. You know, the addiction could come as a result of it because they're trying to cover up. People could overwork. There's over exercising, overeating, um, anything to avoid the emotional feeling of whatever is
right.
underneath. I had an early client I met at a networking meeting, and at one meeting, we'd known each other for several months, and she came over to me and said, I think I need to work with you. I'm crying all the time.
Mm.
Well, as it turns out, when she was 13, her father had died. It was during World War II. And she was the older sister, and everybody was worried about her mother as a young widow and taking care of two small children. So she was told to be strong for her mother, for her brother. She wasn't allowed to grieve, go to the funeral. So all of that stuff 50 years later was coming out.
Oh,
So that is the kind of repression. And she was sad and tired all the time. After
hmm
we worked together about a year, she found her purpose. She let go of all those feelings and found a way to honor her father.
Oh, that's great.
So it's that is part of, every person is different, but
Hmm.
I always take people through 4 steps of a process. You know, first, as I mentioned, is starting with the feelings,
Hmm.
and then it's accepting what the reality is. because how many times do people say, I just wanted to go back to the way it was? Um, but that can't happen. So what can you do? This is where you are. It's like you go to a new place or a shopping mall and you're looking for a particular store and it gives you the X of where you are. So you and or if you're putting an address in your GPS to help you get directions to where you want to go, you figure out where you want to go, but also need to know where you are at the beginning.
Yes.
You know. So if you don't have an idea, I mean, what you've talked about 20 years from now, what do you want your life to look like? I start a little shorter. I just say, how do you want your life to look in a year?
Mm-hmm.
Start smaller. And then we start from there. And then they come up with a plan and then start acting.
Right. It
And
takes
yeah,
that first step, right?
it does. And it takes a lot of courage. I think that
Mm-hmm.
people uh, are afraid to look broken. And you're not broken, you're just human.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. We're all in that same place at some point, and it just takes that first step to get to the next step. Really, that's all we're
And
trying to do is to get to the next step.
right. And you may not know what that next step is, but if you have an idea of where you want to end up, like if I
Hmm.
know I want to go from Los Angeles to New York, if I go south to San Diego, I'm not going to get to New York from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. Uh,
Uh-uh.
so you have, and you might take a detour. You might decide to take the scenic route.
Hmm.
You might decide to fly. How you get there is what you figure out through your life.
Yep.
I
Throw
had
along the
no
way.
idea I would be doing this coaching, but I know that this is what I'm supposed to do. I know that this is my purpose. I know this is what honors my husband's memory,
Hmm.
and it's why I'm here.
Isn't that great to know that?
Yeah.
That's wonderful. How do you work with your clients? Do you meet with them weekly, or how is it that you have it set up?
Well, I have, if I'm working with individuals, I can meet one on one, but I
Hmm.
have a 12-week program called From Loss to Renewal. And I do a couple of different groups every year. And then after the group is over, there's a monthly ongoing support circle because I know that the 12 weeks is just the beginning.
Hmm.
As you, as your loss and your grief evolve, there are going to be questions. So every month of the support that I offer, there's a new topic. And people have asked if they can just come into the support circle. And because it's a very confidential space, I only allow clients to join that support circle.
That makes
If somebody
sense.
wants to be a client, I, I always have a conversation with people first.
Hmm.
And then
And
I
what's
also work with companies. I work with HR to see what kind of support I can offer to
okay?
beyond the
Now
employees
do
assistance program.
okay, that's what I was wondering if it was like something through the company that they would offer then to their
Yeah.
people.
Oh,
Okay, I get it.
yes. So it's something that would be individual.
Got
It
it.
would be
Hmm.
I would be a consultant, and it could be as simple as a lunch and learn.
Hmm. That's always good too. Hmm.
Mhm.
What is the best strategy to follow to deal with grief?
Give yourself time.
Hmm.
Ask for help. Be patient, and let whatever feelings you have come out. Depending on what has happened, people try to rush to what's next or try to quick get better, and it takes as long as it takes.
It does. Yeah, everyone's different, right?
Yeah, everyone is, and Even siblings who are experiencing the loss of the same parent, they're each going to have a different experience based on
Right.
the relationship they had with their parent and where they are in the birth order and all of that sort of stuff. So, no, and even two widows have different experiences. Um, Parents sending their kids to college, they all have different experiences. So,
Hmm.
everyone's experience is different, and there's no set pattern, and you're never done. So,
Yeah,
I think
there isn't
that
a right or wrong way.
right, there's no that
Mhm.
yeah, that's a good way to put it. There's no right or wrong way to do it. There's just
It's unique, right? It's
it
unique to
is,
everyone in
and
every situation.
it there's something about just being fully present with what's happening.
Hmm.
Some people disconnect from their feelings, and I've started meditating more, and now I can't start my day without my meditation. It's allowed me to be more present. It's allowed me to be more present for myself, for my family, for my clients, for just how I show up in the world. That there's the frenetic energy is gone. It's how do I want to be in the world?
Yes. Hmm.
How do I want to
That's
be?
great.
Yeah.
That's really, really great. Well, thank you, Maryann. It's just been so nice talking with you today.
Yeah.
And
Um,
I know that you have a couple of things you wanted to share with us.
yes. On March 19th, I'm doing a free webinar for those people that feel like they're in that in between stage and they feel like they should be better and they're not. Uh, there's a link to register for a free webinar that I'm doing. And then at the end of March, if it happens that you would like to become a client, I'm starting my next group on March 31st. So the best way to find out if that would be a fit for you is to schedule a call with me. I'll share that link with Elaine so she can put that there. But
Very
it's
good.
always best to have a conversation first so we can see is this good or not?
Yes,
Does it make
exactly.
sense? Yeah.
That's great. Well, I'm so glad to talk with you today. Thank you again.
Thank you, Elaine.